Hello friends, thank you for joining me today. I thought for today's project we could do a little silhouette of a sunset here in Florida with some palm trees. A friend of mine had sent me a picture a couple days ago of a sunset by his house and it was absolutely beautiful, so I just wanted to see if I could capture that same beauty on a little piece of paper. So for today's project, I'll go over the supplies real quick. It's pretty basic. We just have a small sheet of watercolor paper, and I do have 3 colors that I'll be using. That's how easy this is, just 3 simple colors. I have my cadmium orange, my lemon yellow, and then lamp black. I do have my number 14 round brush, and also my number 8 round brush, and then my Sharpie permanent marker, and this is the ultra fine point. So to get started on this, I'm going to first of all set that aside and grab my piece of watercolor paper. And I do of course have my clean water and my blotting towel, and that goes without saying. So let me just grab my water, and with the large brush I want to go ahead and dampen the entire piece of paper, because for the background colors, you know, the sky colors, we want those to blend really nice. So I have the water down, and then I'm going to grab some of the orange. And to start, let me move that out of the way a little bit. To start, I'm just going to go over and, you know, get the entire piece of paper at least lightly colored with the orange, and then we'll go back and kind of add a little bit to different areas, because the picture itself was a very, very vibrant orange sky. It was absolutely gorgeous. So now that I have that, I want to take my brush and over to the side, not directly in the center, but off to the side, and it doesn't really matter which side. In the photograph that I have, it was on the left hand side. So with my brush, I'm just lifting a little bit of this orange, and then once I have that kind of cleared out a little bit, and it doesn't have to be totally, you know, all of it lifted, I just want to go ahead and add in some yellow. And this yellow is going to be the sun, which will be kind of hidden behind the tree, but it does poke out a little bit and you notice it. And it's very subtle, but it is there. Okay, so I do have a pretty heavy amount of the yellow in that particular circle. So now I'm going to go back and grab some more of my orange. And over on the side, I'm starting about halfway or 3/4 of the way down, I'm adding just a little more orange to make it a little more vibrant. We take that all the way to the edge, and because this is still damp, it will blend nicely. We'll just give it a couple of minutes to do its thing. And as I've mentioned in other videos, with watercolors, as you know, as they dry, they do have a tendency to lighten up. So don't worry about, going too dark. You can't get dark enough for these sunset pictures. And I'm just going to kind of set a little bit more of the orange here and there and let that blend nicely. So what we'll want to do now is let this blend and dry. We want this to be totally dry before we start putting in the silhouette with the black marker. So if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could go ahead and do that now, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help my channel grow. And if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And feel free to leave comments below. Comments or questions. I like to read everyone's thoughts and answer any questions that you have. So for today's video, I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And just for the sake of time, I had already painted the background on another piece of paper so we can get started with this. So what I'm going to do is, and here's our sunset, as you can see. And so I just want to put two palm trees into this. And so we kind of start, and they are silhouettes. So I do start with the trunk of the tree and then go ahead and just draw where the palm fronds are going to be. And then there's another tree, and this one is over just a little bit. And they're both kind of leaning the same way, as you can see. And so this is pretty much, you know, just my outline of where I want them to be. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing it that way, you can always go ahead and, you know, with a pencil, just kind of pencil them in so you have an idea of where you want them. And so for the ground, I'm just kind of, once again, drawing this in. And I think we'll put just a small little tree in the background over here as well. Okay, so there is the basic bones of the trees, of the silhouette. So for the trunk of the tree, I'm just kind of making little X's, give it a little bit of texture is what what I'm trying to achieve with this. And they're just little crisscrosses, and they don't have to stay right in the lines. And so then for the palm fronds, and I'm going to turn my paper a little bit. So we just start filling it in kind of loosely. Okay, and then we'll go to the next one. And even though this, I'm using marker on this, we're going to be doing a layering effect, kind of like with watercolors, which I talk about layering in other videos. Layering different colors on top of each other. Okay, and then we have our little one here. So I will be going back over those and adding more. I just kind of want to get the basics in so I have an idea of how to proceed. Because obviously no two pictures or paintings are the same, and they are all a little bit different. And this is really easy. Don't think that, something like this is difficult, because it really isn't. And I don't want it to intimidate anyone. Okay, so then for this one, I just kind of want to make that a little thicker. And these won't be quite as detailed. Because they are in the distance. Okay, so then for the ground, what I want to do is just kind of go through, and I don't really want to say color it in, because we're just kind of doing, maybe like little scratchy marks, and we want what would appear to be grass or vegetation kind of sticking up above that. And then what we'll be doing, after this, and you can see, is filling it in with the lamp black paint and adding some shadows. So for this part, you can be kind of loose with it and just scribbling in or scratching in some of the vegetation, and then once we add the lamp black, it's just going to give it a good shadowing. And I really don't want any of my solid lines, you know, showing through that. Okay. Okay, so now I am going to go back to the palm fronds because I want them to be thicker and darker. So here, towards the stem or the vein of the palm frond, you want it to be darker, and I'll show you in this picture how much darker it is. And then of course, as the fronds come out, they do get lighter, not as thick, I should say. So to achieve that, you just do the shorter lines towards the middle, and then, you know, you want to come out and kind of add some length to the palm fronds. So here, and I'll show you again what I mean. So as we're toward the vein, we just want to do like short little lines, and then the fronds, we want those to be a little longer, and you can have like just little dashes that aren't really attached to anything. You can see how much better it looks when you do start adding, you know, to that center, giving it a little bit of depth and darkness. And then we want to get these fronds out there. Okay. Then we'll do this one. So you can see where the sun is behind the one palm tree, and it isn't like, you know, really bright and bold, but it is noticeable, and it just adds a little bit more of a realism to the entire sunset picture. And doing these type of silhouettes, I've done, like the chairs, you know, overlooking the water with a sunset. I've done a lot of tropical pictures like this as a silhouette. They're fun and easy, and they leave a little bit to the imagination, and, you know, without having all of the actual details happening. Okay, so this one, let's make those just a little bit longer. Okay, so I think actually that looks pretty good. I do want to add one more here. It was looking just a little bit bare. And so we'll go through and add the short ones first, and then the longer ones. See, I have to turn it to get the right angle for those. Okay. So that pretty much completes the Sharpie marker portion of this. So now I want to take my, this is my number 8 round brush, and this is where the lamp black will come into play. Now I want very, very little on my brush with a lot of water, because I want to just give it the effect of shadowing on the trunk of the tree. That might be just a little too light. Okay, and then I'm going to grab just a little bit more, and for the branches, we don't want to do it solidly, but just kind of, you know, lightly brush in some of the lamp black to give it a shadow look. It's very subtle yet effective. You'll see, you know, once I get this completed, just how much it really adds to it. Okay. And I'll do this second tree, and then we'll fill in the vegetation below. And you can see this really doesn't take too long to do this. It's a lot of fun, And it's great practice. Great practice with a beautiful sunset. So once again, I do want to thank my friend Jeff for sending me the picture, which was a great inspiration for this little project. Okay. And then let me grab a little bit more and we'll do this little guy down here. All right, so now that we do have the shading on the tree pretty much complete, I'm going to put just a little bit more paint on my brush of the lamp black, along with quite a bit of water. And I just like to kind of start, you know, and the thing is, you can start out light. Just remember, you can always go darker. So start out fairly light. And, you know, along with this, I'm not filling it in 100%, and it is giving some nice texture to all of the squiggle lines that I had put there. And yet filling it in. And if you want to get a little bit darker in areas like right here, and then we can always add just a little bit more darkness here, you know, kind of throughout this. You don't need it everywhere. And the different values, you know, of the lamp black give it some nice texture for the vegetation below. All right, we're nearly done here. So as I had mentioned before, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you could go ahead and do that now, I would really appreciate it. And hit that like button if you've enjoyed this video, and be sure to hit the bell if you want to see when I have other videos coming up. You'll be notified, and you can you know, paint along with me. I always enjoy all of my people out there that support me. So this is pretty much it for this little sunset picture, and I hope you've enjoyed it today. And until next time, ciao for now.